Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great weekend. I got a question from one student who was having trouble with one of the problems on the homework. And since Connect does not provide you guys with help videos on the problems, I decided to create my own help video to explain this because I know that if one student has a question, there are probably others out there who have the same question who just haven't had a chance to ask it yet. So I wanted to put this video together for any of you guys who may be having questions about the homework. So the question that we were wanting to address was problem 3-2. And since all of you guys will have your own set of numbers, I can't really answer the question the same for directly to the numbers that each of you guys has. So instead, I'm going to use this particular problem, which you can follow along with on page 150 in your textbook, problem 3-2A, on preparing, adjusting, and subsequent journal entries. Okay, and the area we were having trouble with was part B, which was an analysis of the company's insurance policies. Now, what you see here is that this company has 3 different insurance policies. And that may seem like a lot to you guys, but that's actually very normal for most businesses. And in fact, a lot of times businesses have even more insurance policies than that. And actually, individuals, meaning people, adults, myself, probably your parents, and someday you are going to have multiple insurance policies. So for example, I personally have insurance policy for my car. I have an insurance policy for my house. And I have a life insurance policy for my life. So if something happens to me and I pass away, my family, my kids will have enough money to survive. So businesses do the same thing, okay? So if they have automobiles, they're going to have an insurance policy for their automobiles, like delivery trucks or things like that. If they have a building, they're going to have insurance on the building. So if something happens to the building, they'll have money to repair it. And they'll also have, just general liability insurance. So for example, if a customer slips and falls in their store and this customer sues them, they'll have money to pay for that, okay? So, and there are multiple other kinds of insurance policies. I'm not going to get into the details, but I just want you guys to know that this is a common thing in business, is that every company is going to have multiple insurance policies that they're going to have to keep track of, okay? So this is a real life business problem. Okay, and what you'll notice here is these 3 policies were all purchased on different days. Okay, so we need to keep track of the days that these were purchased. Each of them has a different amount of coverage, like a coverage period. So this first policy is good for 2 years or 24 months. This second one is good for 3 years or 36 months. And this third one is going to be good for 1 year or 12 months. Okay, and the 3 of them also each have different costs, okay? So now I'm going to talk to you guys about the steps involved in the process of adjusting for each of these different insurance policies. How do I find out my total insurance expense for the period? So let's see, I have my little steps right here. Okay, and the way it goes is this. Okay, first of all, step 1 says determine the amount of insurance used monthly. And in order to do that, and that is the monthly insurance expense. So in other words, how much each month do you use up of the policy? You take the total cost of the policy divided by the total months of coverage. So in the example that we were looking at, if you're following along on page 150, this is policy A. The total cost of the policy was $14,400, and it was good for 24 months. So if you take $14,400 divided by 24 months, you find out that the monthly insurance expense is $600. Okay? So that means every month you use up $600 of insurance. Then you get to step 2. Step 2 says determine the dates of the insurance policy. So they tell us that it's 24 months, but we need to figure out, okay, so what exact dates does that cover? Okay, so we know that the policy started on April 1st, 2015. And they also tell us that the total policy was for 24 months. So if you take your starting point of April 1st, 2015, and you add 24 months to that, and you can use, a calculator to do this or write down all the months in your head, however you want to do it. But 24 months from April 1st tells you that the policy ended on March 31st, 17. Okay, so I'm not able to necessarily show you the calendar and all of that here, but follow the steps along with me and count, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. That gets us to March of 2016. And then the next year, if you do another 12 months, that gets you to March of 2017. Okay? Now we go to step 3. And step 3 says use a timeline to determine how many months were used during this accounting period that we're adjusting for. Okay, so in order to determine the period we're adjusting for, if you go back to your problem, it tells you here that our annual accounting period ends on December 31st, 2017. So we're recording adjusting entries for 2017. And they also tell us, where does it say? That year-end adjusting entries for prepaid insurance were properly recorded in all prior years. So that means that every year-end they have been recording the adjusting entries that they're supposed to. So when we go back to my little chart here, these are the dates that you kind of need to keep track of. So first of all, we want to know, when did we pay the cash? Well, we paid the cash back in 2015. That was well before this annual period, right? This annual period starts January 1st, 2017 and ends December 31st, 2017. And since our policy started on April 1st, 15, we paid the cash way back then, okay? And they also tell us that the company has already recorded all of the adjusting entries for all the previous years. So wait, let me pull this down. Oops, let's see, can I do this? Okay, there we go. So that means the last adjusting entry that was recorded was on, sorry, I can't get my little arrows to work here. Oh, well. Am I not going to be able to do this? Sorry, guys. Oh, man. There we go. Okay, I got my arrows working. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the last adjusting entry was recorded here at the end of 2016. Now January starts 2017, which is the beginning of this accounting period. So we go from January 2017 to December 31st, 2017. So this is our accounting period. And we have to figure out, of this policy that went from April 1st, 15 to March 31st, 17, how much of that was used during this period of 2017. Okay, now we know the last adjusting entry they recorded was on December 31st, 16. So really the only part that was used, was starting to be used in this period on January 1st. Okay, and then we know that the policy ended on March 31st, 17. So that means the months that we used were January, February, and March for this accounting period. Okay. So we know that this accounting period of 2017, we used 3 months. Now, step 4 says, determine the total dollar amount used during this accounting period. So to do that, you take that's your total insurance expense for the period. It equals the monthly expense from step 1 times the months used from step 3. So if you go back to step 1, we see that the monthly insurance expense was $600. So here, our monthly insurance expense is the $600 from step 1. And then we multiply that times the months used from step 3. And that, like I said, we learned here was 1, 2, 3 months. So we multiply that times 3 months from step 3. And that equals the total insurance expense on this policy of $1,800, right? $600 times 3. Now, because there are multiple insurance policies, in order to determine the company's total insurance expense for all policies, you have to repeat these 4 steps for all of the insurance policies that the company has. And then you add up the total insurance expense that you calculate from step 4 for each of the 3 policies, and that will tell you the total amount of your adjusting entry. Okay, now a few things I want you to keep in mind when you are doing these steps is to note that some of the policies started during the year. Okay, I think there's one that started in August. Okay, so if the start is August and it goes past that, then your timeline of months used is going to start here and go till the end. Okay, so you're going to have different things for each policy. Some of them are going to just be the first part of the year. Some are going to be the whole year, and some are going to be just the end of the year. But again, like I've said before, you really have to pay close attention to dates. And hopefully through this 3-step process, you'll be able to identify the dates very well. Okay, so you'll need to, like I said, determine the monthly insurance used, the dates of the insurance policy to know when it started and when it ended, and then of those, the start and end dates, how much of them occurred during our accounting period of 2017 from January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. If you have any other questions or want me to record videos on any other parts of the homework, please let me know sooner rather than later. I've got a busy weekend and may not be able to actually get to a video, but I will try to respond to any questions I have as quickly as I can. So thanks and good luck, and I will see you guys next week.